iScrappers, Tom from the iScrap app. Today is Wednesday, August 14th, 2019. Well, we hope that everyone has been staying busy, enjoying some of this summer heat. I know that we've gotten a little bit of a break here in the Northeast, but different parts of the Southwest, I heard temperatures reaching 120 degrees, so I hope many of you are making sure to stay hydrated, making sure those trucks and different cars and vehicles that you're using are staying nice and air conditioned, and everyone is scrapping off. And in the last week, we've seen a couple of big market movers, but not in the way that we'd like to really see. But if you are a supporter on our Patreon page, you'll be able to see some more updated information throughout the week. So make sure you click on the link before, and you'll be able to learn a little more about what is going on with the market and a couple tips and tricks on a more daily or more often basis through our Patreon page. Now, as we do our weekly reports every Wednesday at 1 p.m., feel free to ask any questions. We'll try to get you those answers while we're doing the reports. And if we don't get to them because you are watching it later on, we just didn't have time, please make sure to ask the questions regardless. We'll get you the answers if some of your fellow scrappers don't beat us to the punch. So over the last week, we've seen a bunch of different things going on. We've seen the prices of copper staying relatively steady, while we have seen a couple of small fluctuations with the market jumping up and down 3 or 4 cents, which what seems like daily. Let's take this week, for example. On Monday, the market dropped down about 4 cents a pound. Yesterday, the market jumped up about 5.5 cents a pound. Today, the market dropped down 4 cents a pound. On Friday of last week, we saw the market stay kind of even all day long. So we've been seeing these little trends going back and forth because a lot of people don't know what's going on with the market. For example, yesterday we saw the copper prices jump because we heard that President Trump was going to suspend the tariffs that were supposed to go into effect on September 1st all the way until December 15th. Well, the entire stock market jumped, and they were very pleased to hear that. Well, this morning we've seen the stock market drop over 600 points, erasing all of the copper losses as well as all the gains in the stock market from yesterday. Now, we haven't even mentioned Monday, where the stock market dropped another 500, 600, 700 points at a time, which has really led to a lot of instability. Some people think that the market's correcting itself, and you might ask, well, how does this react and how does this relate to the scrap metal and copper side of things? Because scrap metal wants stability also. A trade agreement with the Chinese would be the best thing for the copper market, and we would almost immediately see the market rise 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50 cents a pound over a very short period if we saw a trade agreement come into effect. Now, we don't see that happening in the rest of 2019, so many people who have asked us for our opinions on that, we don't see a trade agreement happening for the rest of this year. In fact, there's a chance that we might not see a trade agreement happen at all or until 2021, depending on how the presidential election shakes out. These are things that we're watching for and we're listening to, and many people are talking about the economy in a very positive light. Well, there are pessimists that are saying that we could see a recession coming on the forefront in the next 12 to 24 months. As we've had a bull market for many years now, we've seen the market continuing to increase, and because of that, we've seen many people growing their businesses, getting more scrap in, but overall, we haven't seen these copper prices react the way that we'd like them to. On top of that, the steel market has been up in the month of August, but still overall in 2019 it has been down. We've seen the price of light iron reported $67 a ton, $85 a ton, $88 a ton, $110 a ton. Highest price we saw for light iron or shred was $125 per ton over the last week. Now, those prices are relatively low in the big picture, but we think that in the next year, those prices could climb another 30 to 50% from where they are today. A lot of that hinges on a trade agreement, but a lot of that also hinges on the overall world production and different economic factors that are going into things. Many of you might not follow the bond market or what's going on, but a couple of things that I've been watching that will give you a really good indication on where the economy in the world is. In the United States, the bond market is about 1.5 to 1.7%. In Germany, the bond market is now in the negative percents. What does that mean? That means that if an investor puts their money in, they should expect to get less money back for their investment. While it is a safer bet to put it in than trading in stocks or commodities, who wants to put $100 in and end up getting $99 back a year, 3 years, 5 years, or 7 years later? You might ask, Tom, what does this mean to the scrap metal market and why should we care? What it means is that the entire world is not doing as well as the United States is. And at some point, the United States cannot continue or prop up the entire world economy. The world economy will eventually get to the United States, and we will see a pullback. We might not see the growth that we've seen. We might not see the job creation that we've seen, because outside economic factors will eventually have a determining factor on what's going on with the U.S. economy. Take the copper prices and the trade negotiations with the Chinese. These are directly correlated where we should see prices 50, 60, 70 cents higher than they are today. But without an agreement, we don't see a strong market. Without a strong market, we don't get strong prices. Without strong prices, everyone seems to be in a bit of a tizzy. Now, we've been watching these markets and monitoring them almost daily, if not hourly. That's how into it we are. And we're continuing to see what's going on. In fact, we've watched some of the sheet aluminum prices continuing to drop over all of this summer. We've seen the price on sheet 24 cents a pound, 22 cents a pound, 28 cents a pound, 31 cents a pound, and the lowest price we saw over the last week was 17 cents a pound. Now, if you were a supporter on our Patreon page, you'd be getting some more updates during the week as we're trying to push more information out there for you, the iScrapper, to learn. While it's a paid service, a lot of things in life are not free, and this is one thing that might give you tips, tricks, and advice on the market that you might not otherwise see day to day or week to week, depending on where our weekly reports go. So we try to look at these things, we try to figure out what's going on, but overall, these are some of the pieces of news that we've seen over the last week. Now, with a very unstable stock market, this is not going to bring a lot of optimism going towards the end of August or going into the last 4 months of the year. While suspending the tariffs might be good short term, it still doesn't cause a solution for the long-term problem, and we're waiting to see what happens in the next few months, with a phone call happening between the US and the Chinese in 2 weeks and an in-person meeting sometime in the middle of September. Guys, this is Tom from the iScrap app. Today is Wednesday, August 14th, 2019. Make sure you tune in. Every Sunday we try to do a price reporting so we can show you some of the prices that we've seen over the last week. And every Wednesday at 1 p.m. we'd like to go live and have our weekly report to let you know what's going on with the scrap metal market. If you have any questions, please comment below. Please, we insist you become a Patreon supporter. Any other questions, let us know. But until next week, I'll scrap you later.